Today, I'll demonstrate how to knit this Starlit cardigan. Using the large size as an example, other sizes follow the chart. The knitting method is the same for all sizes. The knitting sequence: first work the front and back bodies upwards. Then knit and sew the sleeves, and finally the front band and collar. This sweater uses 2 strands of yarn for knitting. Tools needed include 3.75 mm and 3.25 mm circular needles, a 2.5 mm crochet hook, stitch markers, safety pins, and other auxiliary tools. We'll start with 3.25 mm needles to work the single rib stitch. Since the original yarn is quite thin, I'll demonstrate using different yarn. Using the long tail cast on method, start with a slip knot. Place it on the needle. For the first stitch, knit a knit stitch. Then for the purl stitch, insert the hook from this position. Work 1 purl stitch. Then insert the hook from this position again. 2 strands of yarn. Knit a knit stitch. Purl stitch. Knit stitch. According to the chart, the number of stitches we need to cast on is odd. So the last stitch should be a purl stitch. Let's check. The raised part should be knit stitch. The indented part should be purl stitch. Knit stitch, purl stitch, knit stitch, purl stitch. Okay, let's begin knitting. First stitch. We work a purl stitch. Then knit stitch. Purl stitch. Knit stitch, purl stitch. Knit stitch. Continue until the last stitch, which should be a purl stitch. Then turn the fabric over. On this side, the first stitch should be a knit stitch. Continue knitting until the row count shown in the chart. Here we have completed the single rib section. Next we will switch to 3.75 mm needles for the main part. First let's look at the pattern chart for the main part. 4 knit stitches, followed by a 9-stitch lace pattern. The stitch techniques used in the lace pattern section include slip slip knit, SSK, knit 2 together, K2 tog, and skipping a stitch. The center stitch of this 9-stitch pattern is a knit stitch. We locate the central position of the fabric piece to begin the pattern placement. Here I've placed a red stitch marker. This stitch corresponds to the center knit stitch of the pattern. Then count 13 stitches to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Up to this point, we'll place another stitch marker. This position still corresponds to the center knit stitch of the pattern. Similarly, we place a stitch marker every 13 stitches afterward. Do the same on this side, marking all the center stitches. Now we begin knitting the first row of the pattern. Switch to 3.75 mm needles. Knit 2 stitches first. Starting here, we'll knit the 9-stitch lace section corresponding to the pattern. First row, knit 2 stitches. Then slip knit, SSK. 1 skipped stitch. The center stitch is a knit stitch. Continue with 1 skipped stitch, then knit 2 together, K2 tog. Slip 2 stitches, knit them together. Then 2 knit stitches. This completes a 9-stitch pattern. Next, skip 4 knit stitches in the middle. Continue with another 9-stitch lace pattern. 2 knit stitches. Slip knit, SSK. 1 skipped stitch, a knit stitch in the center. 1 skipped stitch, then knit 2 together, K2 tog. 2 knit stitches. Then still 4 knit stitches. Follow this pattern to finish the row. First row is finished. For the second row, we'll work on the wrong side. The wrong side is simple, purl the entire row. Second row is complete. For the third row, we return to the right side. Take a look at the chart for this row. It corresponds like this. First, knit 2 stitches on the edge. Then a 9-stitch lace pattern. Knit 1 stitch first. Then slip knit, SSK, skipped stitch. Here, knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then a skipped stitch. Knit 2 together, K2 tog. Knit 1 stitch. This is a 9-stitch pattern. Then skip 4 knit stitches. Start another 9-stitch pattern. Knit 1 stitch. Slip slip knit, SSK, skipped stitch, 3 knit stitches. Skipped stitch, knit 2 together, K2 tog. Knit 1 stitch. 4 knit stitches. Repeat this pattern continuously afterward. We've completed the third row. Ending the third row. Fourth row, purl all stitches on the wrong side, same as the second row. We finish this row. Now we begin knitting the fifth row. Start with 2 knit stitches again. Let's check the fifth row. The middle of this 9-stitch lace pattern has 5 knit stitches. First, slip slip knit, SSK. 1 skipped stitch, then 5 knit stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1 skipped stitch. 1 knit 2 together, K2 tog. This 9-stitch pattern is completed, followed by 4 knit stitches. Okay, we repeat this 9-stitch pattern once more. Slip slip knit, SSK, 1 skipped stitch, 5 knit stitches. One skipped stitch. Knit 2 together, K2 tog. Then 4 knit stitches. Continue following this pattern to complete the fifth row. Row 6 is the same as row 2 and row 4, all purl stitches. Now we've completed the first 6 rows of knitting, let's take a look. The lace pattern forms a V shape, with 6 rows making one complete pattern repeat. After this, we repeat these 6 rows of knitting. Following the chart, continue this pattern to complete the entire section. Knit until you reach the required number of rows. Earlier we completed the front and back bodies without increasing or decreasing. Here we mark the positions of the front and back bodies with stitch markers. I'll place 2 stitch markers on this side and this side. Count the stitches according to the chart stitch count. This is the left front of the garment. This is the back body. This is the right front. Next we'll demonstrate the decrease method for the armhole on the right front. Let's check the decrease pattern here. This position. Here 271 means decrease 7 stitches every 2 rows, once. 223 means decrease 2 stitches every 2 rows, repeated 3 times. Similarly, 216 means decrease 1 stitch every 2 rows, repeated 6 times. This section decreases a total of 19 stitches. Now we begin the first row of this section. The first row is worked on the right side. First, knit up to the stitch marker position. On the first row, follow the chart to work the pattern until reaching the stitch marker. Here I switch to a slightly shorter cable to knit this right front piece, while the left front and back body remain on the original cable. Just now we knitted up to this stitch marker position. Then for the second row, we turn the fabric over to work on the wrong side. The second row uses purl bind off. Knit 2 purl stitches first. Then pick up the previous stitch, and pull it over the next stitch. Don't pull too tight, this way 1 stitch is bound off. Using this method, a total of 7 stitches need to be bound off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 'Check how many chains there are here, that's how many stitches have been bound off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's always only 1 stitch on the right needle. Then purl all the way to finish this row. The bind-off pattern for the next section is 2-2-3. Meaning bind off 2 stitches every 2 rows, repeat 3 times. Here we'll use the swallow bind-off method. On the third row, first follow the pattern chart to crochet the motif until 5 stitches remain. Now there are 5 stitches left on the left needle. These 5 stitches. This one is the edge stitch, then these 4 stitches. The second and third stitches need to be swapped. The single stitch on the right covers the top. Like this. Then knit 2 together through the right loop to finish them. These 2 stitches, knit them together as one. These 2 stitches, we also knit them together as one. A swallow decrease is now complete. 4 stitches reduced to 2. The last edge stitch, we knitted off. The fourth row is still all purl stitches. Decrease 2 stitches every 2 rows, repeat 3 times in total. We just completed the first decrease, finish the remaining 2 using the same method. From the 3rd row to the 8th row, 6 stitches have been decreased. Next is the 9th row. The decrease pattern is 2-1-6, decrease 1 stitch every 2 rows, repeat 6 times. On the 9th row, purl until 3 stitches remain. Next, knit 2 together through the right loop to decrease 1 stitch. The 10th row, purl normally. On the 9th and 10th rows, we decreased 1 stitch in total. Repeat this method a total of 6 times. Up to this point, we've completed the armhole decreases for the right front piece. If you encounter a situation where the pattern doesn't fit, simply knit the stitches normally. Pay attention, decreases and skipped stitches must always appear together, otherwise, your fabric piece will end up with extra or missing stitches. From here to below the neckline, work even without increasing or decreasing. Follow the chart to complete this section entirely. Up to this point, we've finished the part below the collar for the right front piece. Next, follow this bind-off pattern to work the collar section. On the first row, bind off 6 stitches using slip stitch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's check the stitch count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then continue working the pattern normally. Second row, work even in purl stitch. Third row, bind off 3 stitches at the starting position. 1, 2, 3, then continue working this row. Fourth row, work even in purl stitch on the wrong side. Fifth row, bind off 2 stitches at the starting position. 1, 2. Continue working normally after this. Sixth row, still work even in purl stitch on the wrong side. 7th and 8th rows, repeat the 5th and 6th rows. From rows 9 to 14, the decrease pattern is, decrease 1 stitch at the starting position on the right side, and work even in purl stitch on the wrong side. Let's finish this section. Decrease 1 stitch. For rows 15 to 18, we'll work a 4-1-1, meaning decrease 1 stitch every 4 rows. Rows 15 and 16 work even. Row 17 bind off 1 stitch at the starting position. Row 18 still work even. Let's finish these 4 rows. This completes the decreases for the entire neckline section. Next, we'll work the final part of the right front, the shoulder part. Here we need to work short rows. Work short rows of 6 stitches each for a total of 3 times. I place stitch markers every 6 stitches. Let's start with the first row. Work to the position 6 stitches away from the end. At the stitch marker position, then turn to the wrong side. Insert the right needle upwards to pick up the first stitch. Pull the loop tight. Wrap the yarn from underneath and continue working purl stitch. Third row. Work to the stitch marker position here, which is 12 stitches. Up to this point 12 stitches, then turn. Work the fourth row. The fourth row is worked the same as the second row. Pick up this loop. Pull the loop tight from underneath with this yarn, then work purl stitch. Then for the fifth row, we only work 6 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, already reached 6 stitches. Then turn. For the sixth row, still the same. Pick up the first loop, tighten, work purl stitch. Then for the seventh row, we start increasing. Work normally. Work up to the 6th stitch. There are 2 loops here, we knit them together as one. Continue working down. At 12 stitches, same thing, 2 loops knit together as one. Same here, 2 loops knit together as one. This is the 7th row. For the 8th row, work even on the wrong side with purl stitches. This completes the entire right front piece. Finally, leave a little yarn tail. Cut it off. We thread this through with this large safety pin. Take a look at the entire right front piece. First, bind off for the armhole, then work even for this section. Next is the neckline. The neckline decreases are on the front band side. Finally, work a shoulder part. We have already completed the entire right front piece. Now let's take a look at the left front piece. On the first row, we bind off 7 stitches using the slip stitch method. Join a new yarn. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we've bound off 7 stitches here, now we just follow the pattern chart. On the second row, work all purl stitches on the wrong side of the piece, working even. On the third row, we'll use a right side swallow decrease technique, which is slightly different from the swallow decrease we used on the left side earlier. First stitch, knit 1 stitch. Then for these 4 stitches, we swap the positions of the second and third stitches. Second stitch goes underneath. Third stitch goes on top. Then work 2 left-leaning decreases. This completes 1 swallow decrease. Then continue following the pattern chart normally. The 4th row remains on the wrong side, working even with all purl stitches. Rows 5 and 6 repeat the techniques from rows 3 and 4. Let me demonstrate the swallow decrease again. Knit 1 stitch first. Then for these 4 stitches, swap the positions of the 2nd and 3rd stitches. Second stitch goes underneath. Third stitch goes on top, pick it up. Then work 2 together to decrease the front 2 stitches. This completes another swallow decrease. Continue knitting normally afterward. Rows 7 and 8 repeat the techniques from the first 2 rows, completing 3 swallow decreases in total. From row 9 to row 20, decrease 1 stitch every 2 rows. Knit 1 stitch at the starting position. Then on row 9, work a left-leaning decrease, K2 tog, with the 2nd and 3rd stitches, decreasing 1 stitch. Repeat this 6 times until row 20 ends, finishing this entire section. Row 20 completed. Now the sleeve armhole shaping for the left front piece is done. From here to the neckline, work even without increasing or decreasing. Complete this section on your own. Now let's explain the neckline shaping for the left front piece. The difference between left front and right front pieces is that the neckline decreases for the left front happen on the left side, whereas the right front we completed earlier decreased on the right side. For row 1 of the left front, follow the pattern chart normally, starting decreases at the beginning of row 2. First finish row 1 completely. On row 2, use the slip stitch bind off method to bind off 6 stitches at the starting position. The method has been explained earlier. Continue purling to finish this row. Row 3, follow the pattern chart without decreasing. Row 4, at the starting position, bind off 3 stitches using the slip stitch method. Continue purling normally afterward. Row 5, work on the right side without decreasing. Row 6, still use the slip stitch bind off method at the starting position. Bind off 2 stitches. 1, 2. Rows 7 and 8 repeat rows 5 and 6. Rows 9 through 14, no decreases on the right side. Decrease 1 stitch at the starting position on the wrong side. For rows 15 through 18, bind off 1 stitch only. Rows 15, 16, and 17 are worked normally. Just bind off 1 stitch at the starting position on row 18. Now work the left shoulder part section. Same as the right shoulder part, short rows 3 times, 6 stitches each time. If you're not confident, place a stitch marker every 6 stitches. Row 1, work normally first. Row 2, knit until 6 stitches remain. Leave 6 stitches unworked, then turn the work to the right side. Row 3. The hook is under this yarn. Pick up the stitch from bottom to top. Pull tight. Continue knitting, finish this row. Row 4, work 12 stitches on the wrong side, leave 12 stitches unworked. Row 5. Turn. Continue. Pick up from bottom to top and pull tight the loop. Continue knitting. Finish this row. Row 6. Work 6 stitches on the wrong side. Leave 18 stitches unworked. Then continue turning. Row 7. Same method, pick up from bottom to top. Then pull tight the loop and continue knitting. Row 8. We're going to decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here work the 6th stitch as 1. Then continue knitting 12 stitches. Same method. Work through the messy part here. That completes the shoulder neck section. We'll still use a safety pin to thread through it. Fasten off the yarn, and sew everything together once the back piece's shoulder neck is done. Let's look at the back piece. The armhole decreases for the back piece follow the same method as before, so no demonstration here. Check it out. Left of this stitch marker. This is the shoulder neck. Right here. Then, the middle section is the neckline. 3 stitches are left here, which is the number of stitches to decrease for the neckline. First row. We'll knit until there are 6 stitches remaining. Here. 6 stitches left, turn the piece over. Same method as before. Pick up the stitch from top to bottom. And make sure to pull that loop tight. Purl. On the wrong side, keep knitting until there are 6 stitches remaining. Knit until 6 stitches left, that's the end of the second row, then turn. Starting the third row, we'll decrease stitches for the neckline at the same time. Here I'll move these 6 stitches onto this needle for convenient knitting. Same method. Pull the loop tight. Then continue knitting normally. Here we need to knit 2. The stitch marker spot. Up to the first stitch marker. This section is the shoulder part stitch count. These 3 stitches are the ones to be bound off for the neckline. First knit up to this point. Then turn this section over. Fourth row. According to the bind off pattern, we need to bind off 2 stitches in this row. 1, 2. Continue normally until 12 stitches remain. Up to this point, the 4th row is concluded. Continue to turn over. 5th row. Continue normally on the right side. 6th row, decrease 1 stitch at the starting position. This completes the 3 stitches for the neckline section. Then, knit 6 stitches. 18 stitches remain here. 7th row, continue to turn over. Complete it using the same method. Eighth row. We'll perform the decrease row. Here, treat it as 1 knit stitch. The rest remains the same. The right shoulder of the back body is finished. Next, we need to locate the right front shoulder section. Transfer the remaining stitches onto the straight needle. This is the shoulder section of the back body we just completed. This is the right front shoulder section, don't cut the yarn here. Then we'll sew the shoulders together on the wrong side using the knitting method. Pick up the first loop on both needles. We'll use knit stitch. Then knit the second one. Bind it off. Continue to knit the next stitch. Slip 2 stitches together, then bind it off. Connect the 2 pieces together using this method. Pay attention here. Don't pull too tight. Follow this method. We'll knit all the stitches. This completes the connection for the shoulder section on this side. Cut the yarn. Let's turn to the right side and check. After connecting, it looks like this. This side is done. Now let's go back to the neckline section. The number of stitches between the two stitch markers in the middle. Let's thread it through first. For the left section, we've already knitted 2 rows, turned once, and now we're on the 3rd row. Take a new yarn. 3rd row. Start by decreasing at the neckline section, cast off 2 stitches. One, 2. Then knit the 3rd row normally until 12 stitches remain. With 12 stitches left on the left needle, then turn. The 4th row follows the same method as before. Pick up the stitches from top to bottom, pull the loop tight, and purl. Fifth row. Starting point, decrease 1 stitch at the neckline. Six stitches on the right needle. 18 stitches on the left needle. Turn. Sixth row. Same short rows technique. Seventh row, we'll do the decrease. Same method. Treat this as one knit stitch. Knit using the same method. Finish knitting the 8th row. For the 8th row, simply purl as usual. Then we find the corresponding left front. Place the left front onto the needle. Still don't cut the yarn. Use the same method as before to join the two pieces together. Let's see how it looks after the front and back bodies are connected. When connecting the shoulders, don't pull the yarn too tight. Next, we'll explain how to knit the sleeves using the long tail cast on method. Leave a 40 cm tail. Cast on 25 stitches. First, hold the yarn in your right hand. Wrap it under your thumb first. Then over your index finger. Pass through the thumb loop. Tighten, it creates 2 stitches. Again. Wrap under the thumb. Loop around the index finger, then wrap out from the thumb. 3 stitches. Keep casting on this way until you reach 25 stitches. Pay attention not to pull the loops too tight.